Welcome to the UglyMugsPodcast. I'm your host, Quincy.
And your other host, Justin.
So today, I kind of went a different step with my coffee. Instead of brewing a pot at home or anything like that, I went to a local shop. And I did that because I actually really liked the local shop, and I kind of wanted to give them not a commercial because they aren't paying us, but some respect. So it's Avery's Coffee Shop. I just got a cappuccino there, and I like it. They, roast their own beans. So they've got a full bean roaster, and their place smells amazing when you walk in.
Oh, yeah, it did.
And they've got very much the aesthetic, like they're trying to appease the college students. They have a printer you can use, like a fax, like one of those big industrial fax machines you see at like an office.
Yeah.
And then what do you got over there for yours?
For me, I've got another Celestial Seasonings. Let's see if I can do this correctly. It is the black cherry berry flavor.
I don't remember, so I'm gonna go with yes, that's correct.
Oh my god.
What do you think of it?
I already had it last week after we were done. I said, I'm gonna rip one open because I like tea. Now I'm officially drinking tea on my off chance. Every moment I get, I drink it because I'm trying to do better for myself. I've lost a little bit of weight. I've been having more fruit. I haven't really had too much meats unless they're like super lean. So I mean, I'm doing good, Quincy.
Taking care of yourself.
Somewhat.
More than you were, and that's good. It's a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got stuff a little bit all over the place today. We got some movie news, some TV news, comics, apparel, video games, all kinds of stuff.
We got it.
So we talked about trying to figure out a discussion for today. We're going to do a smaller one today because we do have some heavier stuff in the news anyways, but this will lead us into one of my news stories. I asked you what, if any, like Sunday morning, or not Sunday morning, but Sunday newspaper comics you read, like syndicated comics.
Mm-hmm. And I gave a few. Family Values, Marmaduke was okay, but I think it was just for the slapstick. Of course, Peanuts.
Yeah, Peanuts is always a good run. Then we both agreed on Garfield.
Oh, yeah.
Heathcliff was okay.
Heathcliff was like a budget brand, Garfield, I felt.
Kind of, yeah.
I felt like he wasn't 100% behind it.
The other one I liked was Zitz, which you had mentioned you felt was maybe you were too young for when you tried reading it. And then there was I remember Wizard of Id being a huge thing, and then they stopped it. Somewhere amongst my comics collection, I've got a few of the collaboration books that they did where they pulled them all together and put them in a decent-sized book. They weren't huge by any means.
I remember I owned one of the Garfield, it was like this very, very short but fat book.
Yeah, I've got a couple in the other room. They're what, about
maybe 2.5, 3 inches tall, and then it's like,
and then maybe a foot long, something like that. Maybe a little under.
Maybe about 10 inches.
Yeah. So they're weirdly shaped, but they're like complete collections of runs of Garfield comics.
A little off topic, but I ran into a lot of the Garfield creepypastas recently, and I was like, why are we talking about this? Why are we talking? Oh, wait, we're not talking about the scary stuff.
So the reason I wanted to talk about this and bring it up is Jim Davis is the creator of Garfield. He's supporting something someone's trying to do, and it's not something him and Paws Inc. was doing. It was something someone else came up with, and he's all for it, which I thought was really cool. So they've started, they did like a test, and I think it was Dubai, and everything went well. So they're launching in Toronto in April, and the goal is to become worldwide. It's going to be this Garfield app for your phone, and it's going to be called Garfield Eats, kind of a play on the fact that he likes to eat, but also a play on Uber Eats. And the idea is that it's going to be a delivery service.
Okay, all right.
They're going to deliver a Garfield-themed cappuccino because Garfield loves coffee. You can also get a Garfield-shaped pizza. The only Garfield-shaped pizza is what they like to point out. It's shaped like his head. And then this company furthers the fact that they are a completely green company. So I've got some of their stuff here. They're going to be delivering on electric Garfield-themed scooters that they recharge at green stations, so that they're not using any gas or anything like that.
Fossil fuels.
Yeah, fossil fuels. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Mm-hmm. So the Garfield cappuccino is going to be Garfachino coffee. They have fruit juices, cookies, lasagna, the Garfield-themed pizza, and then they said that there's going to be more that you can order. While also doing this, you can watch Garfield cartoons on the app. They have a Garfield VR game that you can play with on the app. And the whole thing is just supposed to be you order your food and then you play around on the app until it arrives so that you can have fun. Also, the containers and everything like that are green and recyclable.
Okay.
So it's a 100% green company is the goal here.
And it's Canada, yeah?
It's starting in Toronto, but their goal is worldwide.
Okay.
They're hoping by 2025 that they'll be worldwide.
Okay, all right.
I thought it was cool.
I mean, it is, but the only downside I see to it is it's super small menu. But then again, it's supposed to be centered around a fat, lazy cat that only likes.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to expand it more too. I mean, like I said, it says and more. They kind of just, I think, aimed for here's the staples that you're going to think of with Garfield. We've got the Garfield shaped pizza, we've got the lasagna, we've got the coffee. But then also here's some healthy alternatives for those of you that aren't eating pizza, lasagna, stuff like that. I'm sure they'll have plenty more that'll make it worth it because I'm not going to order there often enough to make just a pizza worthwhile.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I would probably get the pizza. My mother would get the lasagna. Probably Lauren would get the lasagna.
I'd probably get the lasagna too.
See,
or the pizza, either one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just limited.
Yeah, I'd also go for a Garfield Chino. Garfield Chino?
Yeah, you guys and your coffee. I'm good.
So, the next thing we have on our list, you want to take this one?
I want to take this one. So, James Gunn, literally the day after last recording, James Gunn got pulled back in to do Guardians 3 and maybe a few more things. But that's going to be much later on.
Yeah, we're talking 2021 for that.
Yes. And then here we have Suicide Squad 2, which is also 2021.
Well, okay, no. 2021 is the release for the estimated release for Suicide.
Oh, that's right. So then
2021, February 2021 is when they'll start production on Guardians 3.
So everything's 2021 then.
Yeah.
The release of Suicide Squad 2, the starting of Guardians 3. It's very strange, but something tells me they've done a few handshakes here and there to make sure that James Gunn couldn't still do what he does.
He's also got something else coming out right now that's about to release before he goes into the Suicide Squad work.
Let's find out what that is. We just did a little bit of changing around, so now we can pull things up on the fly, so we're not going.
Yeah, it'll hopefully eat away at some of our dead air time.
Brightburn.
Brightburn, yeah, that's coming out sometime this year or just came out.
That's right. I did hear about this one actually. We saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, May 24th. Okay. Which it's a drama thriller, so it's kind of him stepping back into horror-esque because
it was a little dark.
What really put him on the map was. Well, not to say put him on the map, but
what's that one? There was a child, Lucian, where a kid goes around killing off people.
Oh, yeah, that was totally The Omen. It was a rip-off of The Omen.
Yeah, but
I shouldn't say rip-off. Inspired by The Omen.
Well, it's what draws me to it. Is it was a kid and he's killing everybody, and then
it was a video game because we didn't really make that clear.
Yeah, but. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just I don't know what to think of it, considering it's evil kid, wants to be a superhero, but does evil with his things because devil?
Yeah, the trailer looked interesting. So it was.
I mean, yeah.
It kind of crossed the whole era of him doing superhero stuff between the Guardians movies, Suicide Squad 2, but also kind of crossed into his old territory of horror. So he got his start at Troma, which will bring us into one of our other things here in a minute.
Yes.
But he got his start at Troma, which is known for Toxic Avenger, Toxic Crusader, all those toxic movies. And he also went on to do the Dawn of the Dead remake, I do believe.
Dawn of the Dead in 2004, Belko Experiment in 2016. My mom likes that movie, by
I
the
didn't
way.
see it. It looked interesting, I guess, but it didn't pull me in enough. But the one that really put him on the mark was Slither. Slither hit big.
Up there. Yeah, all of his major ones, because thanks to Google, not sponsored, they put all of his popular projects near the top.
Yeah.
So it goes Dawn of the Dead, Scooby-Doo, Super, Slither, Suicide Squad 2, Brightburn, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Volume 3, and then OG Guardians of the Galaxy.
Reminder, he did both Scooby-Doo movies. They feel very different.
They feel very slapstick.
But they were both him.
I mean...
So, I enjoyed them as a kid. I mean, I enjoy them now as an adult.
I enjoy the first one.
I don't have any issues with the second one personally. It brought in a lot of my all-time favorite monsters.
The first one had a twist that I never saw coming.
Puppy power.
Puppy power.
Yeah.
I was like, how that... It never hinted. It never really hinted.
It's spoilers for Scooby-Doo 2 here, but they did well with burying the lead of who the villain was going to be, and even taking it to the point of you thinking it was someone else, and it turning out to not be. So the whole Seth Green character, the female reporter, the original pterodactyl ghost, that whole thing. And it finally it allowed us to see a bunch of classic Scooby-Doo monsters in like a live-action film, which I liked.
Yeah.
And he's pointing out the fact that it got 22% on Rotten Tomatoes and 34% on Metacritic and 5 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm not saying it deserves an Oscar. I'm saying I enjoyed it.
I'm not taking away from that either. It's just damn, but then you go down to Google users.
94% like this movie.
And I'm like, it's a guilty pleasure movie.
Yes. Also, I take issue with a lot of Rotten Tomatoes stuff because a lot of people will give terrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and not explain why, first of all. Second of all, they will explain why, and it makes you stop and go, did you watch the same movie that I watched? Because that's not that movie.
Yeah.
But the James Gunn thing it leads me into two things. One, we mentioned that he's not going to start production on Guardians 3 until 2021, which is also the estimated time for us, not us, but for Disney bringing in their newly acquired characters of the X-Men universe and Fantastic Four.
Which, okay, I saw the last Fantastic Four movie. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it. It's just...
I didn't even watch it. It looked terrible.
It was. Yeah. Like, I can't... Oh, I just started off by saying it wasn't bad. It had a story. It had something it wanted to tell. It's just it didn't do it the right way. It wanted to shove a lot of the Marvel politics, kind of, and it didn't even portray that the right way. It felt very heavy-handed, and it felt very, very lost in what it wanted to tell us.
The director did some other work that I enjoyed. He did, what is it? The found footage one where the kids find the meteorite that gives them powers. Takes place in Seattle. I don't remember.
Let's Google. Now we have this ability.
They find like this meteor that crashes to Earth, and they do they like go in and touch it, and it gives them superpowers. It's driving me nuts.
Seattle
Chronicle? Chronicle. Was that it? And so he did that one with Mel Brooks' son, I do believe.
Ooh.
And that was actually a pretty good movie. I'm not big on found footage. Yeah, Chronicle. Okay. I'm not big on found footage, but I enjoyed this movie. So it's like he'd done superheroes. He had worked with, I do believe Michael B. Jordan was in it. And now he was moving on to do Fantastic Four, and he's bringing in Michael B. Jordan. I was like, this might be good. And then he comes out, and he explained that he wasn't trying to do Fantastic Four, that he was trying to do his own science fiction movie. And I was like, but you're doing Fantastic Four. That doesn't make sense. And then when the movie came out and it got panned the way it did and everyone hated the movie and whatnot, he came out and explained that the movie that was released is not the movie he made. He says that behind his back, Fox chopped up the movie and completely changed it around.
Okay.
Which is not the first time we've heard about Fox doing that. They did it with Live Free or Die Hard also.
Speaking of that...
Yeah, that'll lead us into something.
Fox is no longer an independent. Now it's owned.
Yeah, Fox is now owned by Disney.
As of today. Well, yesterday.
As of yesterday, yes.
Yesterday.
But what he claims happened with Fantastic Four, we have seen before. So, Live Free or Die Hard. The fourth Die Hard movie. Fox hired a guy to come in and clean up the movie. He cleaned up, digitally removed blood spots. He even put a grunt over the famous John McClane line of "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," so that he just goes "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker."
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and so that director got chewed up for doing that, and he's like, "I didn't do that. Fox did that." But maybe that won't be a thing anymore. We have a lot of things connecting right now. Where I didn't realize how much our news stories connected this week.
It's weird, but at the same time interesting because with Fox, of course, being bought out by Disney, it's had a few images of Deadpool and The Simpsons running next to Mickey Mouse and Elsa, and I'm like,
I think
this is a thing now.
I think Disney's going to keep things very separate, like they have in the past. Because reminder, Disney owns Touchstone.
Mm-hmm.
You never even realize it when you watch a Touchstone movie because it has nothing Disney about it at all.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that this will allow certain things. They're going to move certain things around, I think. We're definitely going to see Fantastic Four and X-Men come over into the MCU now.
And I'm just hoping that they do it correct.
Yeah, me too. Not to say the X-Men movies were bad, because they were all pretty good. Origins had its issues, but past that, I've enjoyed the X-Men franchise.
Origins as an alternate universe, I would count. Because it's entertaining.
I would take the Origin movie, everything about it, except for their Deadpool.
Oh, of course.
That was really the only problem I had with that movie.
You take away the merc with the mouth and get rid of his mouth? Like, what?
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that they did 3 endings to that movie, and depending on where you went and saw the movie, depended on which ending you were seeing.
That's a weird one.
So when I went and saw it, spoilers for X-Men Origins, but
in one instance, in one theater,
when I went and saw it, it was the ending where William Stryker has walked almost completely through his shoes, and the government pulls up and is like, "Are you William Stryker?" And then it kind of cuts from there to Wolverine sitting in a bar drinking shots, and they're like, "American?" And he goes, "Canadian, I think." And that was how my movie ended. Cut to when I actually get the movie, and I don't even actually think I have the movie anymore. And it's the Deadpool head laying in the rubble, and then the arm comes out, goes up to the now open mouth, and goes, "Shh." And I'm like, wait, where was that? Yeah, I had never seen that before. And I think there was one more, but I don't remember what it was.
That one would have been a better ending.
Oh, yeah. I think people would have gone nuts in the theaters if that ending had been what they dropped.
Because then it would have been like, oh, shit. Because having Deadpool's origin story of what Ryan Reynolds made later on in the following years of him being a loudmouth guy doing his job, I'm a hitman down on the streets, and then, I have cancer. Oh, no.
I enjoyed Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I think they made his character a little too good starting out, but I enjoyed his as Deadpool.
You want to know what we both agree we don't like Ryan Reynolds as?
Oh, Detective Pikachu?
Detective Pikachu.
Which is another linking thing.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
There's a board here. We can connect shit right now.
We're going to get some red string and just start connecting all of it.
Give me a pack of smokes.
You turn into we should dress up as the Question from DC.
Oh.
Faceless. No,
I want to be the aliens guy.
John Jones?
I don't know. Oh, no, John Jones.
Martian Manhunter.
Oh, no, I was doing the aliens.
Oh,
with
that.
The weird hair.
Gotcha.
The meme.
Yeah, the meme. So, yeah, did you want to talk about the Detective Pikachu thing really quick?
Not really.
I'll talk about the Detective Pikachu thing really quick.
Real talk.
So the producer, Detective Pikachu, keeps talking, and he's come out and said that they did do test footage with Danny DeVito, and then chose not to use them.
And I would have actually preferred it.
I probably would have gone and seen the movie then.
I mean,
I don't think I'm going to go see it.
I'm probably going to see it just on the base that they're blowing this thing up. They're the only thing that's weird about this movie is 2 things, and they are both Pokemon related. One is the weird fucking Lickitung. It's got like scales and whatnot instead of this weird pink flesh, and I'm just like, I would prefer the flesh.
I think they tried to go too realistic with it.
With some, like Charizard looks good.
Yeah.
I saw a Blastoise that was doing some cool stuff off screen. That was doing some cool shit. I'm like, okay, this is how an integrated world would be. They did like a small comic strip, like a fan art comic strip of like a man and his Magnemite. Uses the Magnemite to breach doors, that sort of thing. Scan the room with electromagnets to raise dust up. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. That would happen in a world if we had inhabited with Pokemon.
You know the one thing I noticed about the trailers? The city looks really dirty. And watching the anime, reading the manga, playing the games.
Everything is spot.
Like, I've never seen it being so dirty. Yeah, you have like 1 or 2 episodes where it's dirty because they need muck and grimer to exist. But I've never seen the city look this dirty before. It was kind of weird.
I mean, But also, you have to figure the kid never ages, so you're living in a timeless world.
True. Oh, he finally had a birthday.
So
Like,
he's 14?
I think he's 13 now.
Oh, that's even weird.
They made a big deal out of it. They finally gave him a birthday. I was like, you could have just ignored it.
You
Just-
could, yeah.
You could have just kept ignoring it. So the producers also come out and said that
If this
does well, this is what everything's banking on. If this does well, they're aiming for more live action Pokemon movies, which isn't a bad thing.
I mean, it's
But-
just what are they gonna do?
Good point. And what I was going to say also is the fact that this movie's already running into criticism for its weird look of tongue, for Ryan Reynolds voicing him, and whatever else you can come across that people are nitpicking at. You're putting a lot of pressure on this one movie now to say future live actions are based off of this. You know people like Pokemon. You don't need to see if people like Pokemon. It's been successful since, before I was born.
Yeah, like Pikachu and Eevee variants of the Switch game are selling still to this day, and I'm like, good, because this is Gen 1. This is the first generation. You're not going to get a game for another year and a half, and then that's going to be starting up in Johto. Holy shit, we're starting again. History repeats itself. Good.
And yet it's working.
It's working.
So to sit there and say this one movie will be the deciding factor.
I think Game Freak will. I think if it makes what it makes and a third of its money in from what the budget was, I think that it actually would continue on because it'll be like, I consider it a hit if it makes its money back and makes a third of its money.
I think the thing it has to worry about the most is getting panned by critics. Because critics, and like what we were just talking about, Rotten Tomato people are going to go watch this movie and be like, oh, this movie was made for kids. Well, yeah, it was made for kids.
It was made for kids, but then there's inside jokes.
Yeah.
There's picks and prods.
But you know what's going to happen. Or someone's going to be like, oh, the CG doesn't look nearly as good, which it looks amazing. And I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's going to happen.
It looks like Pikachu's actually covered in hair.
Yeah.
So.
But it happens with all these movies. So I'm just hoping that the people behind this don't overreact to critic reviews or don't overreact to numbers. They can't take a loss on the movie. I think if they take a loss on the movie, that's where they'll cut the cord.
Oh yeah. Now this one I have no freaking idea.
Okay.
I've heard of this movie. I've heard of the weird cult following it has, but I know nothing of it. So take it away, Quentin.
So Toxic Avenger. It's actually got a franchise. There's several movies. There was a cartoon. There's trading cards. A little bit of everything. It's from Troma Films. Lloyd Kaufman created Troma. Still a company to this day. He's still making movies. Troma's where James Gunn got his real start at. Well, they're rebooting Toxic Avenger, but Legendary's doing it. They bought the rights, or got the rights somehow, and I'm not entirely sure. And so they're remaking it with the director Macone Blair. He did I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, which is on Netflix. I haven't seen it. I'm not saying anything against the guy. I mean, I'll probably check out the movie eventually. I just find it really weird that they're deciding to reboot Toxic Avenger. He's basically a janitor that falls in some toxic waste and becomes a really ugly hero.
And I mean, that's not a bad premise for a story. It's just very... It doesn't lead for anything.
No, it's very campy. The entire franchise was campy. And they're continuing it. They're doing other movies still over at Troma, so I can't believe this is being allowed to happen. It's kind of like how the CW is making a Nancy Drew show while we're getting a Nancy Drew movie. Which, by the way, Nancy Drew show found its father for Nancy.
Who?
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, you know what? That actually gets
you a little excited?
Maybe. I mean, I'm always down for a good detective story, especially after I finished Sherlock, and I started the first episode of that one you showed me with Iblis.
Oh, Luther with
Iblis Abba?
Yeah, Ibris Alba.
Ibris.
Yeah, Luther's good. What did you think of the first episode?
Very good. It was very...
Dark?
Very. It was very jarring to go from Sherlock to that, but I mean, I'm excited. I've got a lot of things on my plate right now.
It's an enjoyable one.
Like right now I'm playing through Divinity 2 with a friend, and we're going super, super, super hard. And when I say friend, I mean girlfriend.
Now, the other weird thing about the Troma not being involved in this reboot is Lloyd Kaufman loves his fans. he's very connected to his fans. He's all over social media. When you go to conventions, you can't get him to stop talking. You know, he's just a lovable dude, and he sold his character. I am blown away by it. Now, what you've got up right now kind of bleeds into two things. So last year, Adidas did a Dragon Ball collab and released some Dragon Ball themed shoes.
Mm-hmm.
This right now, what you're looking at, are rumored. These aren't confirmed yet. So I'm assuming these are either mock-ups or
they look
leaked photos.
They look very strange. Like I like the actual posting of the shoe. Adidas and Pokemon combined makes like I don't know what the stitching is, but it looks really weird and awkward.
Yeah. So it's an Adidas like white shoe with designs of Pokemons in the back, like drawn on is what it looks like. Mm-hmm. But then they've got stitched on the side in full color of the Pokemon. They look like the anime.
It looks. I mean, I'm not taking away that it looks good, but it looks very out of place with the stitchings.
Yeah. I mean, go for it. I mean, if Adidas thinks they can make money off of it, I say go for it.
I saw one. Where did I see that? There was one that I liked. This one, the Howlucha.
What is? It looks like that's Adidas as well too. So ZX Flux Flying Press Edition
with Howlucha on the front. Howlucha. For those who want to take a guess, I enjoy real action-y Pokemon. I love Howlucha. I love Aggron. I love those that would get their hands dirty.
Hitmonchan.
Hitmonchan. Mudchamp.
What's the monkey? The fighting monkey.
Primate.
Primate. There you go.
Like I like those kinds. So I mean, seeing Howlucha on, because he's very underrated too. When I was playing Pokemon, he was very underrated.
So I'm glad Adidas is doing this because screw it. Kids aren't the only ones that need fun shoes. I had 2 pairs of the Spider-Man Vans that Journey did back years ago. They didn't make them for very long though, so I was only able to get the set once. Yeah, we talked about the Adidas Captain Marvel shoes as well last time, which I still think look good. I just wouldn't wear them. I mean, they are a woman's shoe though.
Yeah, they were a woman's shoe, but I mean. Even if they did a men's variant where they like limited these and put like a black trim around the bottom and then had the blue cover up, I think that would actually be really nice.
Yeah. And then the other shoe thing we have to talk about today is The Walking Dead did a deal with Puma to do Whisperer shoes. Now, you noticed the same thing I noticed about this shoe.
They're dirty.
They're designed to look dirty. It looks like a regular pair of Pumas that are dirty.
And I mean... I'm not against that idea, I guess, but I don't know, because in a generation where some people value shoes to be, you're walking on gold right now.
Yeah.
To have shoes like this, and did I see a price tag down here somewhere?
I don't know if they've released a price for them yet, but I mean, shoes aren't cheap already. Then you add things like this to them, they're going to go up in price. Now, one shoe I was going to show you. You're going to want to pull this up. Okay. PlayStation just signed a deal for, well, not just signed a deal, but signed a deal with Nike. So they did an Air set, like Air Jordans, but not the Jordan, just Air. And then they did another set. Not the gray ones. The gray ones have been out for a bit now. The blue one's next to them. What is this symbol on the right shoe? Because I don't know PlayStation well enough for that. Is that even a PlayStation thing, or is that something Nike's doing?
That seems like it's probably their collaboration brand.
So I don't wear Nikes. I don't necessarily care for the style. Like, I get the style. It's just not my style.
I personally like them. I enjoy Galaxy. Okay. I love the look of a Galaxy on top of things.
No, I'm not talking about the Galaxy. I'm talking about Nike in general. Oh. I don't like the build of the shoe personally, things like that. I don't think it's a bad shoe. It's just not my shoe.
Not your shoe.
Now, where I draw an issue with these Nikes is one tongue has the PlayStation logo, while the other tongue has whatever Nike logo this is.
PG2, which I think is their collaboration brand.
Okay. Which makes me stop and go, wait a minute. So my shoes don't match? I'm not wrong.
You're not
the
wrong.
Tongues don't match, and it looks weird. I don't like it. Yeah, they did these, and they did a Jordan set. If you want to look at the Jordan set. The Jordan set I liked a little bit better. Or not Jordan, Air. I keep thinking Air Jordan. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I don't know if it's PG2. I don't think it's PG2. But these are like yeah, no, those are the same ones. These are like $300 shoes.
Yeah,
$400 shoes.
Yeah. Let's go images. Even still, like looking at all these, they are. Oh my god, the freaking soles.
Yeah, the soles have the PG and the PlayStation logo. But yeah, drop out the PG section and just look up PlayStation Airs.
Oh, wait, hold the fucking phone. Look at this.
They glow.
They glow.
Yeah, I mean that's something that Nike's done before.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
No, still not pulling up the shoes I like. Those are hideous.
Those are.
So
I mean,
these ones have the X circle square triangle on the side with the colored PlayStation logo, and it's like there's plastic in there, there's rubber in there, it's all over the place. That's the set I saw. So
those look really nice.
Yeah, the Air ones I actually kind of like.
Yeah.
I just think the sole on it is a little big.
Well,
I would chop off maybe like half an inch of the sole.
I'd say quarter
inch.
Quarter inch.
But these ones are nice. So they're like a black leathery type of material with the Nike logo on the side, which has like the PlayStation swirl going through it, kind of like what you see in the background of PlayStation commercials, where it's like the square and the X and the triangle kind of floating around.
That's kind of nice.
And they're blue. It looks really good. That is a shoe I would probably wear.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't wear Nike. Now, I want shoe companies to keep doing this. I just need them to do shoes I'm going to wear. Because I'm not going to wear pretty much anything we saw tonight except for maybe the Airs.
Maybe. And that's if you're wanting to pay $300.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay $300 for a pair of shoes.
No.
I top out below $100.
For these half boot DCs, I don't hit 80. And they last. They're on year 2 right now.
I'm wearing a pair of Under Armour shoes right now that I would have been paying like $150 for, but I got them when Sports Chalet was going out of business, so I spent like $50.
And Payless is going out of business, so I might be able to find
the one by us already closed.
Fuck.
Yeah, they already closed. Payless is already gone over here. We have a lot of stuff going out of business right now. So we just lost Payless, and then here in Vegas, we just lost Macayo's, the Mexican food place with the parrot on the side.
Oh,
yeah, Macayo's, I think is what it's called. They when they announced they were closing, people were so freaked out about it that they were booked flat every day until they closed.
Yeah,
and then they're gone now. It's sad to see so many things closing. So you want to talk about this? You got so excited.
Okay.
Actually, hold on. Let me break down. I watched him watch this trailer. So we're talking about Shaft. I watched him watch this trailer, and they show the young Shaft, and he's just like, whatever.
I'm like, this is a reboot. Then all of a sudden, Samuel
walks in
with the gun, 2 at the back of his kid's head. Who are you?
And he's lighting up more, and then they show Grandpa Shaft, and he just loses it.
I was like, yo!
So yeah, go ahead and talk about this.
3 generations of Shaft in one movie. I'm hyped. That walk down the street where they're all wearing the burnt coats. I'm just like, yes.
They're nice coats. I'd wear one of those coats.
I would die in one of those coats.
And the right my facial hair is going, I may look like Gramps by the time I get one.
I know, right? I mean, those coats gotta be $1,000+.
And I have to say, I don't remember the actor name that plays original Shaft. Richard Roundtree. He's looking good.
He looks great. And the scene where it's in the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, shut up. The guy takes out a knife and he's like, "Oh yeah, let me grab mine." He pulls out a fucking gun, shoots him. Great execution.
Amazing. And then Samuel comes in. Do you have a knife fight with this guy? Nah, I shot him.
No, I fucking shot him.
And I'm like, oh, I love it. I can't wait.
Good execution, good everything.
June 14th. So we're not that far away.
We're not that. And it caught me by surprise because I only saw it last week.
And it's the production companies listed here. This could be wrong, but the production companies listed are Netflix, New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers, and Davis Entertainment. I'm trying to figure out where Netflix is coming in on this. Are they going to get some kind of special drop when it's supposed to hit DVD or something?
I mean...
That's smart. Let it go to theater and make its big money.
Hulu got a couple things when the DVD dropped. Digital dropped day after.
See, that's kind of cool.
So
I don't like this whole... So I get releasing digital early to get people to buy the digital because you still get them to spend the $20, $30 on a movie without having to put the physical cost of a case and disc out. I get that. So you drop the movie early on digital to get people to buy it. That's fine. What I don't get is when they do things like what they did with Into the Spider-Verse, where it was almost a month difference. It dropped to digital, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks later is when we finally got the disc drop. I don't even think we have the disc drop yet. I think we're still in the waiting time for it. So this is the other one.
I wanted to stay in the dark literally as much as I could about this movie because we talked about this a moment before, but we didn't go too in depth. I'm a fan of Hellboy. I like the BPRD. I don't know how I should feel about this. I saw the Red Band trailer after we saw the half-ass trailer earlier, and I mean,
So I like David Harbour. I like the idea of David Harbour as Hellboy just from looking at the images.
he looks great. He looks fucking great.
He is into the role.
He loves it.
My only thing is I wish they had been given the third movie to Guillermo and Ron and then done this.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's not this director's fault. It's not this writer's fault. It's not these actors' faults. Also, Mila Jovovich is in it. She does some pretty good roles. Resident Evil is a little all over the place, but
on and off for Resident Evil.
You got to remember the first Resident Evil was a good movie.
It was a very good movie. I'm not going to take that away.
The second Resident Evil was a good movie.
It was okay.
The third one is where it started to get a little wonky.
Third was bad. Fifth was bad.
And then there's also the fact that she's done Fifth Element, which was amazing. Multipass. I've seen plenty of movies of hers where I'm like, I just love this woman. So her being in a Hellboy movie kind of excites me a little bit.
Who's she playing? She's playing the
Blood Queen.
Oh, so she's doing evil.
Yeah, she's doing evil. And then you've got Daniel Day Kim. I'm trying to think of what I know him from. He was in Lost. That's right. Okay. That's the first thing I saw him in. He was in Hulk, which I don't even remember him in that.
To be fair, I don't think very many people remember Hulk.
Yeah, I actually have it on DVD.
Are you sure? Are you positive?
Oh, yeah.
Did you forget you owned it?
Now, he's in Lost, which I wasn't the biggest Lost person. I watched for a couple seasons before falling out. I actually really enjoyed his character.
Yeah.
So, seeing him coming into this, I'm a little excited. I don't know if we've had our Abraham named, or even if we're getting Abraham.
Let's check the cast while we're here.
So, if we aren't getting Abraham, I'm a little concerned for this movie. Now, it could be set before they find Abraham, which is fine. I do like Ian McShane for the professor. Because I just like Ian McShane.
He is a good... he can play anything. He can do good. He could do evil. He could do that middle ground where you have to walk up to him to make a fucking parlay. He is one of those motherfuckers that you need to talk to.
And he's got that voice.
That nice grizzled voice to make sure you know who you're talking to.
Now, speaking of Ian McShane, John Wick 3 just dropped another trailer today.
Fucking connected!
Haven't watched it yet.
I haven't either.
Also, they just announced HBO's Deadwood is getting a movie, which is a show Ian was in. So I'm excited. I haven't watched Deadwood, but I'm excited that to see Ian get what he wants because I know he was hoping for this movie.
I mean, yeah.
So, and then was there any other trailers you want to talk about? I think that was about it for me.
Not really. I mean, there was one more on my list. I have to unlock my phone. Tolkien. I also saw that one.
Oh, Token.
We grazed on it last week.
Kind of about Token's life and how he came up with the Lord of the Rings and the languages and stuff like that. But they also kind of did a Finding Neverland thing almost, where they're kind of like you're kind of blurring the lines of reality and story, and I'm just like, I don't know.
And him going off to war and having him be like always thinking of his story while at war.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a bit strange.
It's an interesting way to tell the story. I'm not mad at it. I'm just worried it may not play out as well as they were hoping.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But that was the last trailer I wanted to talk about. There was a couple things as far as gaming. Google Stadia. I didn't watch the thing. All I did was look at a few of the flat presses for Stadia. I probably should have pulled that one up, which I will now.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Google getting into gaming. It is supposed to be a streaming service, right?
It's a streaming for all AAA games that you can play literally on Chrome. Now that right there bothers me.
Yeah, I don't know how well that's going to run.
I mean, it's going to run fine because Google Chrome can play. They did a test of it, not this GDC, the last GDC. They did a test of running Assassin's Creed Origin.
Okay.
It dropped a few frames every now and again, but they said this was a work in progress. Having mild frame drops on Chrome, not an actual gaming PC, it was running on a hunk of garbage, and it was running fine.
Now, here's the thing, though, is it's running on a hunk of garbage in a place that's probably got one of the best internet connections. How is someone going to do on gaming when they're not even trying to be online, but adding online to that, that's even more stress.
That is a bit okay.
Being in a more rural area.
You are correct.
Or being in a country like Panama where everyone uses the same internet because it's government set. It's not you buy your internet.
Yeah, okay. All right.
That's where I get a little weirded out about the streaming thing. I pay for Game Pass. I have PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now, I live in a metro with my own internet that I picked that I pay high amounts on, and I still have to worry about my games going out. I've lost connection during playing God of War, and I had to go back and redo stuff because I wasn't supposed to save point yet on like early God of War games going through PlayStation Now before they added the download feature. So it concerns me.
It's a big concern. Everything is cloud based, so saves, everything like that. It wants to talk to its YouTube creators. It wants its YouTube creators to get this product for like not free, but at a discount, so that way they can continue making more and more content. I'm like, that's great.
I think what's happening here is I think YouTube, therefore Google, is feeling the pressure from Twitch.
And that's fine and fair. That's fine and fair.
It's creating good competition.
I mean, competition between an online distributor of entertainment is obviously good. I choose YouTube over Twitch, even though literally just streamed last night. Mm-hmm. I streamed 2.5 hours of Divinity. Yeah. And, I mean, it did well. 10 people walked in, 10 people walked out. That's how it is. But still, I'm having to think about what I want if I want to earn at least a little bit of revenue, and Twitch seems to be the way to go for new upcoming people.
I don't want to badmouth YouTube here or anything, but where I'm running into issues with YouTube is that they're getting very picky about what you can and can't do.
That is true, but at the same time, you also have to figure they lost a lot of money. They lost $1.8 billion through some lawsuit that involved the UK. Okay. And if it was 1.8 million, they could scoff at that.
That's another thing.
But 1.8 billion.
That's another thing is you got countries like the UK who are just coming up with these asinine rules right now.
Thanks,
when it comes to streaming and stuff like that, and it's pure insanity, honestly.
And it's being taken out on the United States of America. In one of the main rules right now for the new guidelines, you cannot curse within the first 2 minutes. If you want your ads to stick, first 2 minutes must be clean. I'm like,
we ain't fucking getting shit on this fucking thing being on fucking YouTube.
I will start a video, me leaning in, going, fuck.
Yeah, I should be allowed to just set mine at a mature level.
Oh yeah,
plain and simple.
Yeah.
That being said, Twitch has a lot of rules as well. They are not without their rules.
Of course, but theirs are a little more lenient.
A little bit. And game companies are even getting smart to the point where they're like, we're just going to put things in the games that state what you can and can't do. City Skylines, they added new music that straight up says, just so you know, if you're using this radio channel, you can't stream.
Yeah, RT Game, very fun Irish streamer, plays it all the time. He plays his own music, and he makes sure that he doesn't break any of the guidelines. He doesn't include anything too modish toward copyright materials. The only thing that he says that he's honestly curious if it'll work, he has a giant Toblerone bar in the middle of most of his cities.
Gotcha.
So I mean, he's a good kid. He just started up on YouTube not too long ago, and he got one of the luck draws of becoming popular.
I think one of the problems is that YouTube launched as a do anything, then Google bought it, and they started trying to apply rules. And at first it was fine because they applied a few and everything was good.
And then the ads started pulling.
And then when they started realizing money was a major thing here, paying people, getting paid by people, yada, 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 the rules just started flowing in. As where Twitch pretty much launched with its rules.
It had a few
changes. Yeah.
It had a few guideline changes.
I'm not saying one's better than the other because they're not, because there's certain things you can't do on Twitch you can do on YouTube. There's certain things you can do on YouTube you can't do on Twitch.
I'm saying Twitch is better because at least with Twitch, you at least know what you need to get partnered.
True.
You know what you need to get get some income flow.
Yeah.
If you happen to be entertaining to people, they will say, "Here's my subscription fee. Twitch keeps 20% of that. You keep the 80. Everybody's happy.
Gotcha.
Everybody gets paid."
Yeah. So that's definitely a thing, and Twitch is definitely knocked down some doors or knocked down some walls.
Oh yeah.
The other one is Mixer.
Mixer's not doing so hot.
Yeah, I think the issue was that Mixer came late to the game. It's owned by Microsoft. And the thing that pissed me off most about Mixer was the day that Microsoft bought it, they auto-installed it on my console without asking.
And it ran like poo-poo.
I didn't try to use it.
Just saying.
I just don't auto-install something on my console like that without asking.
My friend from Sweden, he tried to work it out. He tried to make it work. He's huge on the Twitch streaming. He loves Twitch streaming. He considers that his job. He gets paid pretty okay. He went over to Mixer because Twitch was kind of treating him unfairly for a little bit, and then when he went over to Mixer, he's like, I'm not getting paid a damn thing.
That was the other thing I noticed about Mixer that upset me, because when I first heard about it, I was pissed off. I was like, okay, so you've got Twitch who's paying people properly, for the most part, and then you've got Mixer that's being forced onto my console and isn't paying properly. Now, they had some cool concepts. There was originally something that I was hearing about where you could obviously set it up as a streamer. It wasn't they could just do it, but you could set it up as a streamer where if you're playing something like Minecraft, they could hop in or trigger enemy mods, things like that. I was like, that's a cool concept.
And Twitch kind of implemented that.
Which then Twitch kind of did their own version.
They actually started off doing that actually with Jackbox.
Okay. I haven't played Jackbox. Yeah. I know about it, but I haven't done anything with it.
With Jackbox, people in the audience can be like a raffle, so that way you can just say, oh, I want this one, that one, or like it'll randomly pick 6 people. So that way you and your actual friend can play with 6 randoms in the thing, and then, of course, when it pops up on the thing, it'll read Twitch chat, so when they put in their vote, it'll be hidden from everyone else on the Twitch chat, and it'll pop up there. Or they can have it on their phone, because it goes through an app as well.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm like, this is great integration.
We've seen other great things come from Twitch, too, simple as Geek and Sundry. Look at what they've done with their streaming, and now they're very successful Kickstarter for their now TV series rather than just
actually Critical Role is on their own. They are not a part of Geek and Sundry anymore.
Oh, they're not part of Geek and Sundry anymore. I didn't know that.
Even still, Geek and Sundry does have like relics and rarities, which I wanted to bring up. They keep getting really big stars, and their last episode is, I think, tomorrow. Don't quote me on that, but I mean, they had Kevin Smith, Matthew Lillard.
Which got me excited.
Like, real talk, they've had really big. The guy who played Daredevil,
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox, thank you.
Yeah.
They've had him. Like, he's never played before, but he's like, I had a blast, And I'm like, this is great. If these
people that have never played tabletop games and come in and do it, and they're like, oh, I love this. It just makes me think of the episode of the IT Crowd.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, so there's an episode where they're gonna do D&D, and they end up Jen ends up making them bring in 2 people who are like supposed to be like these party guys, and they want to go like see strippers and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, we don't want to play this, and then they end up loving it.
Yeah,
like, absolutely loving it. And I've had plenty of friends who are like, oh, I'm not into this, and then they joined in on like a session or 2 and like, oh, I love this, and I can't stop thinking about it.
I mean,
and they just end up blowing money.
Carlos was super wary. He was like,
yeah,
I don't know if I'll be good at it.
Yeah, my friend Carlos was a little weary about doing it.
Now he's fucking on Facebook.
Yeah.
D&D anyone?
My friend Jordy was pretty weary about it, and now they both love it. And Carlos is spending money on it, and he doesn't even have anyone to play with right now. And he's going out and buying figures. He's buying figures for no reason.
Now, if we happen to get some revenue coming in through our various means, if we can start getting some extra pool of cash, I want to start up a podcast where we're going to soccer ball it.
An actual play.
I have the setting. I have most of the characters already jotted down. I don't sleep. I have a really hard time sleeping. And if you say, oh, melatonin will help. No, melatonin don't work on me. It makes me actually very sick. How about the sleeping medications? No, those work, but too well. I'm just
going to start hitting your head with a frying pan.
Now, I like not having concussion. Me, think good.
Okay, I'll just start smothering you to the point where you don't quite
die.
But you're not conscious.
I mean,
find that nice medium.
But instead I'd rather put it toward something where I'm writing out. I have it in the Faerun setting. For those who don't know, Faerun's huge. Like, I have it to where if you decide you want to join in on this, 26,000 miles, or no, 2,600 miles, I'm sorry, is just Act 2 to Act 3.
That's a lot of space.
That is a lot of space and a lot of things. If you head a certain way, you run into racists, fascists, and otherwise in certain ways. If you head a different direction, you head literally through an area full of assholes that just don't like people. They're xenophobic. And if you head a certain way, you're just going through the wildlands.
Well, I've got things I've built up too from having been a DM for a bit and everything, and ideas I came up with, complete with a maze I built from the ground up.
Yeah, and I'm super bummed that we didn't have a chance to do that.
A group of 7 evil figures that you would have had to deal with. And later on, there was a group of 12 evil figures I came up with for a second story arc. And they had a theme, and no one guessed the theme for the first 7, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone that may listen who one day might actually get to play it. I don't know. It might be a thing eventually. Yeah. But did you want to go over the stats really quick for the Google thing?
Real quick, I really don't want to talk about it too much because I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be because you can play it anywhere. That is their go-to. They say you can grab a Bluetooth controller, strap it to your phone, and your phone can play any 4K HDR titles at 60 frames. That is where I'm like that
on my data, or do I have to be hooked up to a Wi-Fi?
Now, see, that's where it's like high-speed internet connection required. So it could probably go off your data, but that's a problem. That's a
well, I mean, if you have unlimited data, it's not a problem until you reach the max and they drop your speed, and then it becomes a problem.
But I'm wondering how long before it becomes that problem.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be?
But I mean, you can get Wi-Fi in your car now.
Okay.
You know, I mean, Wi-Fi is like you can take it places now. So I guess there's a thing there. The closest thing we have to this right now would be that app I was talking about on the phone last week for PlayStation, but you have to be on the same internet. Or what was it that Steam did that's no longer a thing?
Steam Link.
Yeah, which yet again, you had to be on the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, it's supposed to be for the same home, just separate areas.
Sure.
So,
yeah, that one's, yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with this Google thing. I'm a little weary.
But super weary.
What it created that I think is odd is there's now talks that Walmart might try doing something like this.
Complete rumor. And I'm going to debunk it right the fuck now by saying if Walmart gets their hands dirty and gets their hands in gaming, let me put this out there. They did gaming PCs that were lies. And the reason why I say it like that is they say, oh, we're going to ship out this i7 6700, or I think it was like an 8700K with a 1070 Ti. You know, I know that sounds like garbled mess to you.
That was Hebrew to me, but yeah.
But as soon as people got it, it was 1050, which is a lower grade video card, and it was just an 8700, not 8700K. The K at the very end means it's overclocked and allowable for overclocking, which means it can act faster.
Okay.
So people were getting not what they paid for, and to be 300% honest, most of that parts were overpriced.
So putting all that to the side, okay.
Yeah.
We'll take all of the people are going to make the argument of what they sell doesn't necessarily reflect them because they could be selling other stuff. Yada yada yada. I am a big user of Vudu, mostly because I wanted people to stop borrowing my movies.
I still have your Dresden. Sorry.
See, no. So I'm a big user of Vudu, mostly because I can watch stuff anywhere.
Yes.
As the real reason, and it does allow you to download it to the device, so you don't have to stream it.
Yeah.
Where I run into issues is I have bought things. For instance, I bought Hatchet on Vudu. I had never seen Hatchet. I'm a big horror movie fan. I'm a big slasher fan. So I was told, you have to watch Hatchet. You have to watch Hatchet. So I bought Hatchet back in October, sat down to watch it, and it froze 30 minutes in. And you could not get past this. Refresh, restart, watch on a different device, skip ahead of it. Nothing. It was stuck at this spot. I ended up buying the DVD, and that's how I watched Hatchet. And everyone that had contacted, because I wasn't the only person with the problem. There was actually a forum that someone had set up where people were talking about, like, it's happening to me too about 30 minutes in, right when, spoilers, the boat crashes into the shore. And people would contact Vudu's customer service about it, and the response was, oh, it's working fine on our end.
That doesn't...
So that means I'm imagining the problem?
It's all in your head.
It's all in the hips.
It's all in the hips.
So if you can't stream a movie, which is nothing compared to streaming a AAA game.
And with having zero delay in control. Because remember last week, as soon as we finished up here, we went downstairs and we played Metal Gear Solid 3.
Mm-hmm.
During the cutscenes, I was getting thrown out of like the small time immersion that I have with Metal Gear Solid 3 because it's one of my favorite games. I know the game back and forth. The major issue I had with it was every now and again would have a jolt, a stutter,
And that's streaming through PlayStation Now.
and that's a
PlayStation Now. I can't talk.
It's okay, but it was a bother to me because if it's that bad on just a small hiccup, how bad will it be on a big hiccup? How bad will it be on a full disconnect?
What's going to happen when I'm playing Call of Duty and I've got 10 people shooting at me, and grenades going off, dogs coming in, airstrikes happening, and stutter. Not to mention also, I have to be communicating with people. If I'm not on Discord or something, if I'm trying to use some other... That's the other thing we don't know. Is it going to support multiplayer? If it does support multiplayer, is it going to have its own chat? Where are we at on any of this? We need more info, and we need to see more tests. I want to see less tests in their environment and more tests by people outside their environment.
I would like to see that too. I mean,
give it to some YouTubers. Let us see what the YouTubers can do with it.
Yeah, I would actually like to, because there's a couple YouTubers. One that lives in the UK with terrible internet. I would like to see him because he's one of my favorites. He's super meme heavy. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a shout out. Pyrocynical. He's very, very narcissistic in that degree of I fucking hate my life. My wife left me. You know, the memes.
Mm-hmm.
And to see him try and do something with his crummy internet and still trying to portray a video, why not? I'd like to see it.
Yeah, so for now, we'll table it, but we need to see more before we can make a final decision.
Oh, hell yeah.
As of right now, I am worried and I'm not liking the idea.
I'm a no. I'm a hard pass.
So, now, I had mentioned something to you, and you'd already seen it. They're making a live-action Dora the Explorer movie. The poster looked good.
The poster looked good, but it's like, but why?
Now, what I didn't tell you is there was rumors going around about who would be voicing Boots, and the actors come out and confirmed that they are voicing Boots. And the reason I didn't tell you who is because I wanted to see your reaction. The actor is Danny Trejo. Machete will be voicing Boots. He's just like, his eyes are looking all around the room. He's trying to grasp for something right now.
I'm trying to figure out how a monkey with Danny Trejo's voice will sound.
I don't want to see this movie, but I want to see Danny Trejo's Boots because I'm just like, this is so like insane. Why is this a thing? Like, why is Danny Trejo Boots? Who thought this was a good idea? Like, it doesn't even... Why wouldn't you just get the original voice actor, first of all? Second of all, that's going to be so weird seeing Danny Trejo's voice come out of that monkey.
Like, I'm looking at Danny Trejo right now on my phone just because I don't want to click over. I'm trying to imagine him as a monkey.
And just think about his voice. I'm blown away by this decision. That being said, I think it might be fun.
I mean, give me a full trailer, and then we'll go.
We'll see what he sounds like in a trailer. I mean, but we are already dealing with Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, which doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You've played this game
a little bit,
aeons before I ever touched. So
okay. Sea of Thieves just celebrated its 1 year yesterday.
Good for it.
I enjoyed it. I had 2 complaints about the game, and sorry, let me rephrase this. I had 1 complaint about the game and 1 personal issue when it came to the game. My 1 personal issue is I had 1 person to play with, which makes things very difficult. My 1 issue is there were no actual safe areas. You would go to a town to deal with a merchant or something, unloading stuff from your ship. You can get attacked. You can you still have to deal with online people. And I'm going to give some free advice to game developers right now. Anybody developing an online game, whether it's GTA, whether it's Sea of Thieves, whether it's Fallout 76,
give us
Red Dead Redemption 2. 1, give us personal servers. People will pay for them. Look at what Minecraft is doing. 2, make legitimate safe zones because people are dicks. The world is full of nothing but dicks, and they will continue to kick our asses for no reason. And you may think, well, that means you have to spend money to buy our stuff. No, it's just going to make us stop playing the game because we're going to get fed up. We're not going to want to play because everything we do, especially if we start spending real money, is just thrown away.
Yeah.
That's my 1 complaint about the game, is there was no true safe areas. I had someone sink my ship, while it was sitting docked, and I was dealing with a merchant. I came back out to my ship sinking. Yeah, I can go get a new one, but that's not the point.
Yeah, no, it's far from the point because it's like, why should I have to pay something that I just walk away for 2 seconds to go and handle something, and then come back, and it's already destroyed. I'm like, where am I supposed to be? What can I do? What can I do to prevent that? How am I supposed to talk to a merchant and be safe? Oh, there's no way to do that. Fuck this game. You know what? I'm glad I didn't download that game.
It's not a bad game. It was an interesting game. Rare did some fun stuff with it.
I'm not taking away from it, and it even has some updates with this anniversary set.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not dragging me in.
So I'm going to run through these updates really quick for anyone that hasn't played Sea of Thieves in a while. Maybe this will be what gets you back into it. So they're doing quest campaigns. So they're doing something... I think it's Tall Tales. It's a new way to play the game. It's gonna be more missions in a sense, bringing in more quest content, stuff like that. Then they're also doing the arena, which is going to be a player versus player area.
But that's like everywhere, isn't it?
I'm wondering if maybe with this update, because I haven't jumped on the game yet,
money and stuff.
Maybe with this update, maybe it kind of makes the game a little bit less. Everything is player versus player, and then they're bringing in hunting, fishing, and harpoons, which is also going to allow like some cooking and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's all a little bit of fun stuff. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to jump back on the game tomorrow or anything, purely because one, I'd have to re-download it because I cleared it for space. Two, I don't have anyone to play with, and I have. You could play it because you have access to it, and then I have my brother, but the odds of all three of us getting on at the same time are very astronomical. So that's my own personal issues. I can't blame that on Rare.
No.
And they do have a matchmaking thing to where you can play with randoms. So they've done everything that an online game needs to do to make it to where you can find people to play with.
Yeah.
Did you want to move over to your... this one?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Marvel just pulled in Destin Daniel Cretton to direct the Marvel superhero movie Shang-Chi, where me and Quincy both had this exact instance of, okay, wait, what movie is he doing? Okay, wait, what movie is he doing?
Yeah, before realizing Shang-Chi is the Master of Kung Fu. I have Master of Kung Fu comics. I have Shang-Chi comics. It wasn't clicking in my mind.
And I have no idea who that was.
He's a very...
I did a little searching, and I'm like, yeah.
He's got a very interesting story. Father was a crime lord type of thing, and he reminds me... It's almost like they mixed up Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee.
And I'm okay with that.
And it's very fun, and I'm hoping this guy does a really good movie.
There are rumors and speculations that people are saying that this is going to be better than Iron Fist.
Which isn't hard to do.
It isn't hard to do, but at the same time, how much better? I'm going to give it its benefits. It seems like it's going to be a fun time, considering people are already super, super excited for it. It's technically the first Asian superhero. Technically.
Superhero movie, yeah.
Superhero movie, yes.
I don't think there's any more that I can think of. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Bruce Lee was a superhero, but...
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, maybe you could count Brandon Lee, because he played the Crow, and he was half Asian on his dad's side, so...
Okay, second then.
Yeah, we can call it second. The Crow very much is a superhero movie. I don't care what people say. It's based off a comic book. He goes out and he fights crime. Screw you people. But I'm excited. This is what? Is this going to be phase 3, right? This is probably going to take place after Endgame and all that stuff.
Yes, this is post Endgame. This is just someone who is going to be picking up the slack from all the heroes not being around.
Yeah, it'll probably be
recovery.
It'll be on the streets type of hero most likely. So it'll be kind of like watching one of the Netflix shows in movie format. So I've got high hopes for it.
I do as well. I don't have any problem with it.
And we pulled up a few images of the character, so that Justin could get a look at him because he's never read any of the comics. And I'm telling you, he looks like Bruce Lee. Yeah, and then there's certain images where he looks like Jackie, but he's very much influenced by those two.
I can see it.
Right. And so the Master of Kung Fu, it's very much inspired by Bruce Lee movies and stuff like that. Okay. So it hopefully will be very high octane.
I mean, I'm hoping, and at the same time, even with the talking scenes, I'm hoping that it keeps it down. The next thing I want to talk about is way, way off, and it was on its own. Let me put it up on it. The Oculus S, $400 for full motion tracking.
I was about to say they're saying without having to do a full room setup,
which is fine and fair. Which I'm like, that's great. The only thing is you have one little box that gets the full detection of the room.
So this was a big deal back in the day, and then Facebook bought it, and it kind of died off. And Facebook started saying they were going to do all these different things with it other than gaming stuff. And now it's just worked back to being a game thing.
Which is fine.
It's so all over the place.
I mean,
and there's already 2 other relatively successful VRs out there, and you're just now launching this bitch. Like,
you're not wrong.
The PlayStation VR is not terrible. I just ran out of stuff to do on it without, spending all my money. And then there's the HTC, the Vibe, which once you get the belt and stuff like that, you're no longer connected to your PC, is pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, your
stepfather's about right has it. He has a full room set up for it. He's got the things. Originally, we were plugged into the PC. I don't know if you've been over since the belt.
No, yeah,
the battery pack for the belt.
I had the battery pack.
He's got the setup, the headphones set up. Yeah, it's really nice. It flows really well.
Fucking love it.
But there's a lot of games that are being turned into VR that really shouldn't be. Like, they did Skyrim in VR, and it's just like
it's very messy. I played it at not last year's, but the year before's GameStop Expo. They put me in this glass box, and they put on Doom for like 5 minutes, and then Skyrim for 5 minutes.
What'd you think?
Doom was very fucking fun. I almost ran.
Well, that's Doom. That Doom was made for VR, unlike the Skyrim where it actually is Skyrim.
Yeah, it felt very clunky and heavy, and I wasn't having too much fun with it. I mean, it was very pretty to see everything have, like, I was waving my arms at flowers, and they were acting. They were acting accordingly. I was like, okay, you guys did a good job overhauling it, but that means jack shit to me.
Piper has Skyrim for his PlayStation VR. Ooh. And he says the biggest problem he ran into with that is the scene when you're in the back of the carriage at the beginning. Having his character sitting while he was standing was fucking with him and was making him sick. So, I mean, that's on a personal level, I guess. But it is something to take into consideration when you're doing VR. You have to stop and think about how is this going to make people physically feel.
Yeah.
So you've got the Rift S Oculus thing up right now, and they're launching it with 3 games that you can buy. Yeah. It looks like Wrath, Defector, and Stormland.
Asgard's Wrath.
Oh, Asgard's Wrath.
Yeah, a little tiny word there. But Stormland looks like a climb around, get to an area type game
shooter
with guns
thing. Yeah, it's like you're a robot shooting drones and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then Defector looked like it was a nice.
It's a Mirror's Edge type of thing, but they've also got
James
like
Bond?
cars and
Whoa, what
guns.
The fuck? Well, you got a rocket.
Okay, this is more like Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like jumping from a moving car into a plane and then catching a rocket with your bare hands. Real talk, I want this game.
It looks like a robotic can.
Even still, fuck you.
I mean, it looks cool. And then the other one is Asgard's Wrath, which
kind of looks like Skyrim, but
yeah, it looks like Skyrim. It's a fighter type of thing. It looks like it's gonna be like arena fighting. Yeah. It looks like there's some powers in there, some different kinds of weapons. I'm not saying any of it looks bad. It's just I'm not gonna go in.
It all looks good. Like I like Defector. Defector's nice.
I mean, how much did you have to spend on this thing again? It was what, $400?
$400.
Does it come with the games? It doesn't say.
Our incredible VR gaming library. It doesn't say that it's readily.
Okay, I wouldn't say incredible when you have 3 games, but okay.
Well, I mean, that's probably games that are made for it. I mean, I'm sure it works with other ones. Their compatibility tool tells them, what's recommended.
And their recommended versus their minimum on some of these are the same. So it's they're sticking to 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
Their CPU changes. They go up 2 CPUs.
The i3 6100. That's
their minimum.
That's minimum.
They're recommending the i5 4590,
which is not bad. But then again, most computers nowadays are running i5s, i7s.
Yeah.
i3s are very hard to find.
The graphics card goes from a 960 at minimum to a 970 on recommended.
And I mean, that's a lot of oh god, kernels.
Oh, that's the alternative. Sorry, that's the alternative.
Yeah, that's the alternative. Now, what they want is a 1060 and at minimum a 1050 Ti, which isn't that. This is actually not that great. But
they're saying
to upgrade to a 1060 or higher, I would say get yourself, for the price of the 1060, I would say get yourself like an RTX.
See, the video output is where you lose me. I don't know what all this is.
DisplayPort. It's just DisplayPort.
Okay. And then USB port is 3.0.
It
and they're
has
saying,
to be a 3.0,
Yeah.
which I'm happy to say I'm fully enjoying the integration of 3.0s. I just wish that we would get rid of 2.0s altogether.
So I've got nothing against 3.0 or anything. The one I have an issue with is that new one Apple came out with on their freaking their new laptop has
USB-C.
Yeah. It's the dumbest thing because nothing uses USB-C.
Well, it's slow going because certain LGs right now are releasing with
There's rumors that their new phone is going to be USB-C only, which would then require us to buy all new blocks, and we wouldn't be able to hook it up to most of our computers. If it ends up being a thing, it's just a rumor right now.
That's fine and fair.
They'll do their big conference later this year. Okay, so this one is Netflix has announced 1 billion more original movies and TV shows.
Just to fucking cover up their shit.
But this one bothers me.
Go ahead. Hit me with it.
So they're doing a Three Musketeers movie, which you may sit there and go, okay, we had Three Musketeers several times over. We've had The Musketeer. We've had Three Musketeers with Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, Charlie Sheen. Amazing movie. D'Artagnan was Robin from Schumacher films. I can't think of the name. Chris O'Donnell.
Okay.
And then you had the newer one. Also, Tim Curry was the Cardinal in that movie. So
really?
Yeah, he's the bad guy in it. It's amazing. And then you have the newer one where you had, what's his name? Orlando Bloom.
Oh, yeah. That one I know.
I didn't watch that one, but I had nothing against. I think at the time I was pissed off at Orlando Bloom because he was like, I'm done making pirates movies, and then turned around and made Three Musketeers. I'm like, it's just pirates on land. Like,
no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
all right. But they've announced that they're making a Three Musketeer movies. I'm also a fan of the book. So that shows how much I love this. But here's where I draw the issue. They're making it a modern movie. It's gonna be Three Musketeers modern day. And
is it gonna be like Kingsman?
Yeah, is it gonna be Kingsman? Is it gonna be like, are they CIA agents? Like, are they FBI agents? Are they Secret Service? I mean, they would,
because they are of fight of the Queen and Country, right? Or
yeah.
Are they against the Queen and Country?
No, they're supposed to be for the Queen and Country, and then they get disbanded, and then they realize that they still have to save them.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's confusing. I don't know why they're going modern. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait to see some trailers or something. But as of right now, I have no high hopes for this movie.
There's a lot of things I don't have high hopes for, and that is one of them because I don't know. I guess I'm just not a fan.
I also don't think we need it. We've had so many good Three Musketeers. Why do we need another? Plus, the candy bar is amazing.
I was just about to say that. I was literally on the step to say that.
The truth, all-time favorite candy bar.
Yours?
Yeah. Yeah, I love Three Musketeers.
And
I've got a really weird way of eating them.
Do you know what my favorite one is?
Mr. Goodbar.
No.
It was worth a guess. What?
Fifth Avenue.
Okay, I like Fifth Avenues. Fifth Avenues are good.
Favorite.
Now, this one is kind of a smaller news. So there's a Super Dragon Ball Heroes Universe mission. It's been a manga set. They're doing a collected edition of it, where everything's in one. It's only got a rough Japan release date right now, which is of May. But, I mean, for manga collectors, it's going to be a big deal. I don't know when we might be seeing it over here in the States. So, I don't read manga too often. I'm not opposed to it. It's just there's not too many that I'm interested in. And most of the ones I am interested in, other than going to, like, Barnes & Noble and picking them up, I don't have access to them.
Yeah,
so.
And I mean they're popular as ones that you usually.
Yeah, Trigun. There's a few others. Assassination Classroom. More the actiony ones. I'm more into the action than I am any of the drama or the slice of life or anything like that.
Yeah.
Fully Cooley.
Fully Cooley would probably be the
That'd be a
closest.
good one.
Would probably be the closest to slice of life, considering it's not an average slice of life, but it's a good slice.
Yeah,
of life.
and I mean, not that I'm opposed to slice of life either, because I watched Yuri on Ice. I just didn't. I have no need to go and get the manga. You know.
I saw K-On! There's where I draw my lines.
I don't know what that is.
4 girls start up a band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for school.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So this one is a 2-parter. You didn't really want to talk about this too much, so I'm going to gloss over part of this really quick, but then get into the other thing kind of in depth.
I'll talk about it. Talk about it.
So Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, Jason,
Sean,
Sean, Beyond Two Souls, all three are coming to PC this year. We don't have an exact date, just that it's this year. And they will be exclusive to the Epic Store at first. Eventually they will go out. It'll probably be another year deal like Metro is. So do you want to talk about why you're angry at this, or do you want to just skip on?
I'll talk about it for the brief fact of the matter of you're a multi-million-dollar company, but only because of one very particular game. That one particular game gets you all of the funding you need to get this. Don't get me wrong, it's a good idea, but do I think you should do it? No. Why? Because you are literally going to oversaturate the market with trying to get exclusives. Division 2, exclusive to the Epic Store. The Metro game, exclusive to the Epic Store. You're taking two very, very strong games and you're holding them hostage to those who don't want to cross the lines.
Yeah.
Now,
And like I had mentioned to you, if your service is worth it, let it speak for itself rather than forcing people to check it out. Because that's what you're doing.
That's
Which,
perfect.
as far as I'm concerned, shows a disbelief in what you're selling.
That's fine and fair.
So, I do have a panel where one of the leaders of Epic came out and talked. This is Steve Allison. He's head of Epic Games Store. Now, here's some direct quotes from him. He says, "We don't want to..." This is about the Metro exclusive, despite Steam having done pre-orders and them having to refund it and everything.
Yeah.
So, this is a quote from him. He says, we don't want to do that ever again. We had been talking to those guys for a number of months, and they made some decisions on their end. This is not a throw under the bus thing. It's just the timing of where that came together and what was important to their business. We decided to do it together. We both know that there was the potential for the thing that was... he gets weird. Like, just say what it is. Potential for that thing that happened in terms of communications. I think it felt way worse and was bigger than we thought. And in real time, we spent time talking. We will never do this again in this way. So he's saying they will continue to do the exclusive thing. It just won't be we let people pre-order it another place and then pulled it type of thing.
Okay.
So that's why they are doing the exclusives for those three games I just listed. They're doing the exclusive for Division 2, like you just mentioned. But their whole thing is we won't have another Metro where people are thinking it's going to be available other places, start pre-ordering it, and then have it pulled from you and been told, well, we'll get you your money back.
That's fine, I guess, even though having it do that was still not a great thing.
Yeah. He goes, and I think we're not in the situation now where that could ever happen, because now we've lived and we have a view out in time, and we can work with everybody. We have a case study where it says maybe we should make our decisions earlier. Epic says that the Metro Exodus sold pretty well despite the anger.
I figured.
And it kind of gets into the revenue splits, 88-12 and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. Yes, it's good for developers to go over to Epic versus Steam. They're going to get a better revenue split. But let them make that decision to sell with Epic. Why is it you're only willing to give them that 88-12 split if they go exclusive with you?
You're right.
Like, come on.
Just back it up a little bit. Think about your options.
That also kind of makes me feel like you don't believe in the product you're buying from these developers.
Yeah, because then it's like you sell an Epic and you only sell 100,000 units, but if you sold it on Steam, you'd sell 1 million+ units.
I mean, they're not forever long contracts. Like the Metro one's only a year contract.
Yeah, so who's to say that they won't cross back over?
Yeah, they could very well release it on Steam in a year, but who's going to be interested in a year? And then the fact that it also pulled the original ones.
That was a bit much. I'm glad that I still have it on
I mean, I have mine on console, so I don't have to worry about it.
And I have it in my library, so I'm glad that I've already purchased it preemptively.
I'm also concerned, what if Epic decides they're going to start pulling them from console? I mean, they haven't done anything to do it, but I'm not saying pulling. Sorry, pulling is the wrong word. What if when a developer comes to them and goes, I want that 88-12, what's stopping Epic from going, okay, but you can't sell it on console? The PC only with us for at least a year. They haven't said that that's going to be a thing.
Going to be a thing, but if it
but
does,
it could.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's,
I don't think that would happen, because that would actually be a very, very that would be a terrible way to earn revenue.
Yeah.
If they did for server releases and otherwise, I can see them doing a handshake and saying, okay, well, we'll instead of the 8812, we'll do 7525.
Yeah. I don't understand the concept of I don't understand the concept of we're going to hold games hostage. I do understand the concept of we're going to offer you more money to sell on our platform. But you should still be, as a developer, allowed to take your game wherever you want to.
Oh, of course. Gonna slide right around and mention. You remember how I told you I liked System Shock 1 and 2, and we were talking about how they got reduxed by Diver.
Yeah. The second one got reduxed a while back, but they didn't do like a full remake, and now they're working on the first one.
Not just that, they're also working on the third one.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm super stoked. They brought in the freaking. Oh my god, it looks so good.
So Lauren wants to see a full redux of 2, though.
2 is fine. 2 is
because that's the one that she really likes.
Yeah.
So, I was mentioning to you, I think this is a great business thing that the Diver is doing, where they're bringing the old games everyone else has kind of been like, well, we already did that, we're moving on. And they're bringing them back for us. Yeah, it's a hell of a concept. And even half the work's already done for you.
And even their own IPs, such as Strafe. Strafe was a game way back when, but it got put into abandonware. They brought it up. And I love Strafe. I
don't know what Strafe is.
Strafe is take Fallout 1 but put it in first person perspective.
Oh, okay. That's
so
cool.
It's very slow, very meticulous, a lot of talking.
Yeah, but so what Fallout 1 was and even 2 were able to do that a lot of games can't do now is while it was very story driven and a lot of talking, at no point did I feel like I was watching a movie versus playing a game.
And then you've got fucking Uncharted 5.
Yep.
Literally a movie with a little bit of gameplay elements.
Yeah, even Metal Gear 3 a little bit.
Metal Gear 3, I can say. Metal Gear 4 is notorious for it.
No. I think that's a Kojima thing, though, because he's just so into the story. And that's not a bad thing.
It is not. I love Kojima. I will put his face on my body somewhere if he would let me.
Like, ask his permission. You're not going to just do it without asking.
I am not going to do it without his permission, but then again, I'm pretty sure he'd be like, oh, hell yeah.
And you know what? Here's a pin with one of my characters. Speaking of pins, did you want to talk about the Critical Role pins?
Okay. Now, I like the Kickstarter. I love that it's almost at $8 million at the time of talking about it. But one of the major things that I was like, I want to buy the pins. But in order for me to buy the pins, I would have to back $300.
Yeah.
But it comes with a bunch of other cool
stuff. Yeah,
swag,
you get the pins, and then you get all the stuff for the lower increments as well.
Yeah.
It's just, when you hear $300 for 7 pins, you stop and go, wait a minute, what? And at first, I thought you were saying pens, so I was really pissed. I was like, $300 for 7 pens? Get out of here.
Yeah, and I was like, no, pins. Who's on first?
What's on second? I don't know who's on third. Tomorrow is on home? I don't remember. I saw a nice little image where someone actually put up a baseball diamond and it was all of them labeled.
Aww. But, I mean, I do like what they're doing, but I would like to purchase the pins if I can. If I can just buy the pins while backing them.
Or at least a variant of them. Like, make the same pin, just slightly tweaked so that there's a difference between the backer and the purchaser.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe a different background color or a different clothing choice on the characters.
Or instead of enamel, just do the flat-bedded ones.
Yeah,
I like the flat-bedded ones. The ones that have the paper in between the clasped thing. I would like that, too.
I gave some free advice to game developers a minute ago. I got some free advice for iTunes now. Okay. I love actual play podcasts.
Okay.
Casts. Campaign, One Shot, Sound of Crows, Critical Role, things like that. Now, what I don't like is that finding them can be a pain in the ass. Because in the featured collections section on iTunes, they do not have a section for actual play. They have audio dramas, radio dramas, things like that. They have news. They have pretty much anything else you could think of. But they do not have a section for actual plays, despite so many people doing them. It's a pretty big thing for podcasting, and it's one of the main things I listen to. Because It's mostly improvers of some sort doing story through role-playing games. And it's very enjoyable. So, iTunes, get on that. Because if we ever do one like we're hoping, where's it going to sit?
Yeah, I mean, I've got, as I've mentioned before, I have a huge narrative. I've got literal character pages. I've got a Google Doc.
We need more mics.
Oh, god damn. I've got 45 different characters that are just in the first town alone.
That's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
That's a big town.
Yeah. Now, I don't tax you on being a bad DM. You are very good at DMing.
Thank you.
But when it comes down to characters, when we're like, what's their name?
It's because people go in the directions I'm not expecting, so I don't have things ready.
Yeah.
Which is my fault also for not being as prepared for the randomness that comes with role-playing games.
Yeah, but I mean, that could be easily solved by 3 classes of improv.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm over-prepared. I'm like, I have that one apothecary because I guarantee you none of this entire crew that we pick will go to the apothecary.
We have 2 Sues in the last game we played because people were putting me on the spot for names. And I accidentally did 2 Sues. Yeah, there was 2 Sues.
I never wrote down names, so that's why.
Yeah. And then there was literally characters that ended up being what was it? Nick, Knack, and Patty.
Oh, that was before me.
Yeah, that was before you. But because I was put on the spot for names again, I was like, Nick, Knack, and Patty, because I was doing 3 brothers. So it worked.
I mean, yeah, why not?
I'm bad with names. I can come up with characters. I can come up with their jobs. I can come up with towns.
But their names.
The names. I mean, I need like a baby book of names.
I mean, well, then you run into they're an elf. Shit.
Yeah, but Matt Mercer on Critical Role, he did a video where he gave some DMing tips, and he talks about how he's got a thing of names for when people put you on the spot. And I'm like, I need to do that. That needs to be me.
Yeah, and then he even has an incentivize of making a backstory. If you basically incentivize, hey, you give me a backstory that I can work into my story, give me page and a half to gloss through.
What I started doing was name generators.
Well, name generators would work too. But you give me a page and a half of a backstory of your character, I'll either start you off with an uncommon magical item or a little bit more spending gold so you can boast yourself at the start. So that way there's a little bit more incentive to build bigger story and bigger trust with all of your companions. Because what Critical Role did, everyone's got a backstory. Everyone's got a fucking amazing backstory. You've got Bo, a mysterious monk. You've got Yasha, a freaking woman who's out of her place. And her backstory still has yet to get anything. Knots is being discovered right now. Caleb, who went through a lot of tragedy just to be able to stand where he is. I can't really say much for Caduceus, because Caduceus is like, my forest is dying, I'm just here now. I love Taliesin Jaffe. He's a great person. I just don't know how he's treating Caduceus right now.
And it also, a lot of it comes down to the creativity of your group. Not
too.
Just the DM. A lot of it is the DM. The DM has a lot of responsibility to create the world you're in and stuff like that. But a good chunk of it has to come from the players as well. One thing I saw that certain DMs do that I actually kind of liked and considered doing was they would have everyone write down different kinds of enemies, different kinds of events that could happen, things like that, and throw them into a hat.
Three goods, 3 bads, and everyone writes 1 good, 1 bad.
Yeah, and then you pull them out of a hat, which was a decent concept. The other thing I liked was it was telling people that they had to figure out why they knew each other than we met in a pub and took this contract from this mysterious stranger or from a bounty board. Because that is the number one way people start.
No, don't worry. I have the best way of getting you guys started.
And I think that's even a little bit how our games are. I think we got a little bit away from the pub thing, but my original game was still like kind of randoms. They
Mining.
all washed up on my original one. They all washed up on a shore from a storm. They were on different ships and got washed up on the shore.
That's a pretty good one.
To be fair, I didn't come up with it on my own. It is one of the level 1 suggested stories, and I pulled it, but whatever. Paizo, before it was Paizo, while it was Paizo, before it was Pathfinder, used to do a lot of one-off stories that were great for starting things out. And I think that might be where I pulled that one.
Speaking of which, I actually bought... Well, I didn't buy it. I found a copy of it it said it was legal use, and it's a paizo, and it involves Faerun.
Yeah.
And I grasped a few
Paizo
things.
used to write for D&D until they decided.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, they back before they decided to. The people at D&D kind of Wizards of the Coast kind of had a thought of, wait a minute, why are we paying other people to write our stories? And then they're making a portion off this when we could just hire writers and we get to keep the complete income. And that's when Paizo went, oh, so we're out. And the D&D wasn't asses. They let them finish the storylines they were working on and stuff like that. They got to clear everything up. But then that's when Paizo was like, well, what do we do? Well, let's start Pathfinder. And they created Pathfinder. And now they've got Starfinder, and they're still growing.
And, I mean, Pathfinder has its ifs and ands.
Starfinder's a lot of fun.
Starfinder, I've heard, is pretty fun. Pathfinder, I say, if you're going to do anything Pathfinder related, look into Divinity Original Sin 2. That's the game I've been playing on Twitch. It's the game me and Socks desperately love. We enjoy this game to hell and back. The mods that some people create make the game more difficult, nail-biting. Some, of course, like to break the game and make it much more easier to apply. But it leans toward Pathfinder rules more than like 5e or 3.5.
The biggest thing I like from Pathfinder and Starfinder isn't even a rule set or character set or anything like that.
Game feel.
That too. But as they actually came up with the idea of, what if I want to play with other people? What if I am at a convention or at some bar that does a gaming thing or something like that, or I'm out of town and I find a local game or something while I'm there? They did the Pathfinder Society and the Starfinder Society, and it's got this whole ranking thing and stuff like that you basically carry with your character, where you build up points or something like that, and you can go and enter into these games for a one-shot storyline and basically use your thing that you have, the stuff that you get through this game, so that you come in and you can get proper equipment without becoming in and going, oh yeah, I've got this legendary weapon that you can't confirm or deny that I have. You're able to present this information and compare it from the Pathfinder or Starfinder Society and properly equip your character. That way you're not starting every game as a level 1 character or coming in with OP shit.
Okay, I mean, that seems pretty fair and told, but then me reading a couple of the Pathfinder books, I was like, this is a bit heavy-handed, though.
Yeah, they get really into their story.
They do. They're like, you gotta follow this shit.
Something you might want to look into, though, is Paizo lets you contact them with stories.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
They have a whole thing online. You can email them your story. The idea is it's supposed to be a one-off adventure. Do not try to make it connected to the actual story. It does not need to canon to their story. Do not throw references into other crap.
Oh, then never mind. Because
they don't want to get sued because they're going to publish this.
Okay, then never mind. This is connected to a few things and also a great tragedy of the Faerun.
Well, but it's something to think about. That you can, in a sense, freelance write for Paizo, and they have come out and said that's where they've gotten some of their current writers. Is freelancers who sent them in stuff.
Neat.
They're only doing it, I think, for Pathfinder right now. I don't think they're doing it for Starfinder. I think it's because Starfinder's still so early on.
And I don't know if I would write for Pathfinder personally. It's not that I'm against their rule set. It's just I've been playing 3.5 and 5 for so long.
You don't have to have the rules set to write the story.
I know, but what I'm saying is I don't know if I would be leaning toward making a Pathfinder story. More so, I would rather write and make 5e stories.
Gotcha. See, I would want to write Starfinder because sci-fi really speaks to me.
I know it does.
But it's like it's D&D type of characters in space. I mean, you have goblins in space. They're literally just called space goblins, but whatever. They tend to not be evil, though. So that's an interesting thing. But I mean,
when you reach space,
wizards
would you want to be
and
evil in
stuff
space?
like that. It worked out for Jason, at least for a little bit of Jason X. Not a great movie.
Not a great movie. I was wondering why you pulled that reference.
Because it's still part of it. It's still a thing. That being said, Blumhouse has come out and talked about whether or not there would be another Happy Death Day or another... what was it? Oh, God, I can't think of the name of it. One of their other horror movies had Ethan Hawke in it. Begins with an S. I'm spacing. He's looking it up. It's driving me nuts. I can't believe I'm causing dead air like this.
I'm sailing
But
away.
So he came out and he Sinister. So Sinister and Happy Death Day, he says, are not getting sequels.
At least they're not planning on doing it. He says anything's possible. Things might happen. Things might not happen. But as of right now, they have no plans to make sequels. Which I think is a decent way to handle it. We're not making another one, but if an amazing script comes around, we're not going to shoot it down either. So I kind of had my issues with Happy Death Day 2 because I hadn't seen 1. And when the trailer came out for 2, it tells you who the killer is from 1 in the trailer. And I'm like, wow.
Wow. Oh,
Thanks, guys. So I got 2 more things on my list. I don't know if you have anything left.
That was everything. We conferred, and that was it.
So this one kind of pissed you off. Valve is launching a new design for their library.
It didn't piss me off.
Okay, it just bothered you.
It did bother me a little because I'm like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And you guys just moved up to this new, cleaner looking one, and now all of a sudden, like, I'll bring it up right now. Like,
they're also bringing in.
Look how clean this is. This is clean.
Yeah, and it very much reminds me of the old one.
Yeah.
But they're bringing in a new design. They did show an image, which you saw. And they are also bringing in Steam events.
I don't know what
so I don't know if there's going to be any actual rewards for that or if it's just like a fun thing to do. I think we're getting into a world now where if you're not being rewarded for things, you're not going to be as interested into doing them.
And that's not true at all.
You don't think so?
As said, me and Socks are playing Divinity, and there's no rewards for most of the shit we do.
No, you're playing the game, you're having fun, but if Steam suddenly goes, there's an event for this game that you haven't played in years that you don't really care about anymore.
So we're talking like TF2. Yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of competitive TF2 in a brief limelight as a spy medic backup, and I'm like, ugh.
They're saying the new library design is really going to emphasize recently played or what you play the most, things like that. But,
I don't.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can remember what I was playing. I don't need it to be moved to the top for me.
Like, you want to, like, I can showcase what the fuck I've been playing recently, and it's not great that I have to emphasize that I've played Gary's Mod for almost 2,000 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I like about Steam, though, is that they keep all that information there for you. But I don't know. I'm fine with the update because I don't use Steam very often because I don't have a gaming computer. But you as a Steam user feel it's unnecessary.
Kind of, yeah. 2,212 hours on Gary's Mod, 1,565 on Counter-Strike, 607 on TF2. Like, come on.
That reminds me. I turned on the TV the other day. It was on a random lower numbered channel.
Okay.
Because we had been using on demand, so it just picked like number 2 or something like that.
Okay.
They had CS:GO. They were doing a cover of a tournament of CS:GO on cable.
ESL, or do you know what it was?
I don't remember, but I was like, holy crap, cable is covering CS:GO tournaments. This is actually kind of cool.
Okay.
I was like, I'm down. It wasn't even like a weird gaming channel or anything.
Back when I used to go hard, I had made it pretty high up in the rankings, MG2, and I was super happy about it. Now I'm lucky to be silver. Back then, I used to enjoy watching and watching pros play, throw smokes, you clack one against the ground, see it bounce over a small wall, and it pops on the other side, and you're just like, that's fucking cool. You do that shit in practice, and now I'm feeling like, I don't like using the word in this game, but the meta shift, and then you look around and you see people fucking yeeting smokes across the map to smoke off A long, and it's like, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that.
I can't believe you just turned yeeting into a verb. Or yeet into a verb.
And with that, we start our announcements.
I got one more thing. So Disney's hotels are all completely booked right now. The night before Galaxy's Edge launches. So Galaxy's Edge is about to open at Disneyland, not Disney World. Disney World's like a week or 2 later or something like that. But the night before, all 3 hotels are completely booked.
That's a lot of money.
It's going to be a sea of people.
Yeah.
I wanted to go and check it out when it was opening, and finances aren't an option right now, things like that. But I'm also not a fool and wouldn't go opening month.
Yeah, we wait a couple.
Yeah, I probably won't actually check it out until the end of the year or next year. We'll see. But the fact, I've never heard of this happening. I've seen Disney's hotels get booked up completely before. My most recent trip to Disneyland, I couldn't get a hotel stay because they were booked, but that was because there was a pharmaceutical convention in town, literally right across the street from Disneyland. So people were like, well, I might as well stay at the Disneyland hotel. hit the convention. And when I'm done at the convention, go to the theme park or go to downtown Disney or something like that.
Yeah.
Plus, if I'm staying at the hotel, my parking's covered, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But to actually fully sell out all 3 hotels because you're opening a new section of park, like, holy crap. Don't get me wrong, it's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I'm excited. I would fully understand wanting to stay there. But holy crap. Can you imagine the money like the smaller hotels are doing too?
Yeah.
All like the freaking Red Roof Inn, stuff like that, Best Westerns, all those around there have got to be making bank right now.
They probably they're probably like raising up rent.
It's going to be hour-long lines. There's going to be people that never actually get to go on the rides despite going for this opening.
Even fast passes might be a problem.
I'm going to be all over YouTube and Google and Pinterest and stuff like that from the, when it opens for a couple hours, checking out all the photos and videos of people that are trying to get in and whatnot. And that'll be me kind of living vicariously through them. But I can't see putting in that time because I get irritated when I pick just a regular busy time to go to the park, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't believe I went now.
Like, we got lucky the last time.
We planned our trip pretty well too.
Yeah,
but yeah, we did get lucky, and I went during spring break once, and that was by far the worst I've ever seen it. I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like when Galaxy's Edge opens.
Oh no!
Because spring break when I went, it was a sea of people. Like literally, you would look out into the park, and it was just heads and colored t-shirts. That's all it was. But imagining what it's going to be like now. They've got a maximum occupancy. They've had to turn people away before. They're going to have to turn people away now. There's no way in hell. Like, obviously people buy their tickets ahead of time, but the people that are going to try and go and buy their tickets at the park, don't do it. It's not going to work. You're not going to be able to get in.
It's going to be terrible.
The lines to get tickets are going to be hours long if they even have tickets to do. So, but that's the last thing I had to talk about. So, really quick, we're going to hit our
our 2 favorite
sponsor type things.
Tokyo Treat is still our going. They haven't taken away our thingies, even though we haven't
done anything yet.
Yeah, hopefully someone out there will be like, you know what, I want to have something nice.
Get some culture, guys. Go and try some nice Tokyo snacks.
Yes,
Japan snacks.
And of course, we just pulled in Loot Crate as of last week. So if you guys want some nerd apparel for inexpensive, we also have a code for $3 off. Hopefully, you might want something out of that.
I mean, their regular box alone gets you a T-shirt, and if it's not a T-shirt you like, then at least it's a workout T-shirt or a cleaning around the house T-shirt.
Yeah.
So, hit up Loot Crate, hit up Tokyo Treat for us. We could really use you guys using those links. You have to use the link that we put in the bottom. You can't just go and buy Loot Crate and then be like, oh, they told me about it. It doesn't really work that way.
Well, Loot Crate has it to where you can also put in a code.
Do we have a code?
I put in a code.
Okay, we have a code for Loot Crate. I was wrong.
It's okay. Other than that, we're gonna go ahead and hint that we're slowly talking about getting a Patreon. That if we get some money through Patreon, we might be able to start doing more shows and more outgoing things.
Yeah, it's something we want to do. We want to bring a Patreon, but we need to have content for the Patreon so that you guys have a reason to pay for it. So it's something we're gonna work on. We're gonna try to come up with that, and spread the word to your friends. We need more listeners so that we have people for the Patreon.
Yes.
I did forget one thing for today's list. This was something I thought you were going to be excited about. And for other people, I told you already though. My Hero Academy or Boku no Hero Academia.
Yes.
Is doing an Ask Me Anything on March 26th from 2:30 to 4 p.m. Central Time on Reddit. They're saying they're going to have Justin Briner, who is Deku. They're going to have Clifford Chapin, who is Bakugo. They're going to have Christopher Sabat, who is All Might. And they're going to have Colleen Klinkbird, who is the ADR director and also voices, you called her Pink Girl?
I call her Pink Girl.
How do you say that name?
Yo-Yo-Rozo?
Okay, there you go. I'm not the greatest with the different names in there. So, you're right. It is your Yozo. Yeah. So, for those who are big fans of that, go check out that Reddit for the Ask Me Anything. I haven't actually done any of the Ask Me Anythings on Reddit or anything like that.
Oh, no, that's Momo.
So
I messed up.
That's so it's not Pink Girl, it's Momo?
That's Momo.
Okay. I've never done any of the Ask Me Anything things, but I hear that people come up with some pretty clever questions that these people have to answer.
Like, I watched the Critical Role one at ECCC. Yeah, one made me go, ooh, I don't know if I want this question answered.
See, so they can be fun, and so I suggest everyone go check it out.
Yeah.
But that's all we have for you today.
That is it. Have a great week. Is it Thursday yet? Oh, wait, that's not our catch line.
No.
No.
Well, we don't have a catchphrase yet. Hey, tweet us with catchphrases. You can check us out on Twitter, both personal Twitters and one for the show. As well, you can always email us, send us carrier pigeons, smoke signals, Morse code.
Smoke signals are a little bit more difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah, I think the issue with smoke signals is it would mean you know where we live. So, carrier pigeons to local places in town. We'll deal with those.
We'll deal with those.
All right, thanks, guys.
Woo!